Leah and the mayor mentioned the fact that these are weapons that are used in war. I know a little bit about that. At the age of 8, I survived war myself. I'd never imagined that I'd come to the United States and be in high school, and that there would be a school shooting, and that I myself and my kids to come would practice school drills on how to avoid being gunned down in one of the greatest nations in the world. There is something fundamentally broken. I know that in America we value life. I know that in America we are loving neighbors. I know that in America we are people of faith because these babies that were gunned down were actually kneeling in prayer. But what I do not know is why, uniquely in America, we have the capacity to not change what we know we can. So that is what we must ask ourselves. This is not a big issue for us to solve, like curing cancer or AIDS, even though we attempt to do that every single day. This is something that is simple, a simple ban to make sure people who should not have access to these weapons do not get them.
Now, that was an Academy Award-winning speech by Ilan Omar, because she's preaching to the American people. This is the Somali woman who, quite frankly, in my view, hates the United States. She's come right out and said Americans are evil, especially the white ones. Now she's preaching that weapons of war are being used and we won't stop them. The American people don't want guns banned. Well, here's my problem with that. No one that I know, and maybe no one that you know, has a problem with gun control. But how much and how long are these Democrats going to talk about gun control? It does not work. You can stop law-abiding citizens from buying firearms all you want. The weapons of war they speak of, which is an AR-15, handguns, shotguns, you name it, you can stop law-abiding citizens from buying them. But you will never stop a criminal from getting a firearm. The illegal gun trade is alive and well in the United States, and Ilan Omar knows it, and every other Democrat who wants to preach more now about gun control because a mentally ill person decided to go in and kill innocent people. The gun control thing is a joke. It's a cover-up for what they're really doing. They are protecting a certain group of people. They don't want anyone to villainize a certain group of people. The transgender community. And how many times have you heard this? People are sick and tired of seeing them flaunt and protest and advertise. Why can't they just go about their lives and live them the way they choose? Because we don't care. But we do care when someone as evil as Robert Westman goes into a church with weaponry and takes innocent lives. That's when we care, because the person was transgender. And many, probably millions of Americans believe that is a mental illness. So Omar, from Minnesota, of course, the trans community loving Democrat, wants to preach to the American people about our Second Amendment right to own firearms. They have failed year after year after year trying to pass unfair gun control laws that take away the rights of the American people. Right. If you're 18, you shouldn't be able to go buy a firearm. You should be 21. There should be rigorous background checks. It should take a lot longer than 7 days. But again, criminals want guns. They can get them because they are readily available in every state in the United States of America. And Omar knows this. And what really got me mad? Seeing the mayor of Minneapolis get up to a podium and lecture the American people about this.
It's on all of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for anyone. We should be operating from a place of love for our kids.
He's heard a lot about people hating on their trans community. And if anybody is using that to villainize his people, they're not human. You've got to be kidding me. Why don't you just come out and say it? The person who went into that church and took innocent lives was mentally ill, was a man saying he was a woman, had all kinds of videos and writings and you name it, that this person wanted to do these horrific acts. The person actually wanted to do away with President Trump. That's how ill this person was. But that mayor will never say it, and Tim Walz will never say it. And just like I said in my last episode, letters were written to Tim Walz to help protect schools, private and public, and churches, and he did nothing. He would rather spend the taxpayers' funds on caring for transgender people, the Minnesota trans community. Well, how'd that work out, Tim? You had another mentally ill person commit a horrific, violent act. And him too, you'll never hear them talk about it because these people are their sanctuary. This is where they get their votes. Those groups of people make these failed politicians feel important. And it's an absolute disgrace that we have to continue to talk about this when gun violence is going on, and it's never going to end. Never going to end. But they could do something with their transgender community. Instead of coddling them and holding their hands, they could get them the help that they need. They could stop bowing down to these people who claim they don't have rights. And they could get them the help they need again. What are we doing as a society when you're applauding and going along with someone who's claiming to be something they cannot be? And I say it all the time, and I'll say it one more time, and I apologize. I don't care what these people do. And most American people could care less too. But stop throwing it in our face. Stop shoving it down our throat and leave children out of your mess. It's not the guns. It's not the guns. And people will say, oh, the gun's shooting itself. No. A mentally deranged person with a firearm is committing horrific acts like that because they hate their own lives. They're not happy who they were pretending to be. Just like Robert Westman. That person had a suicide mission. That person was going to end his life either way, which is sad in itself. But you want to take innocent people with you? And the only reason I can think of is because you're a mentally ill individual and you think it's okay. Politicians on both sides of the aisle need to cut the bullshit with the gun control. It does not work. Some states in this country have the strictest gun laws in the United States, and Minnesota has some of those strict gun laws. But Robert was able to get firearms. Not one, not two, maybe 3, 4, or 5 that he had on him when he went to that school and that church to commit his crime. Enough with the protection of the transgender community. How about helping them see their way and figure out who they really are before they keep committing horrific acts like this? It needs to stop, and it's got to stop with the Democrats bowing down to these people every single day.